Hey, what's good? It's your girl Pika. It's over here Sunday night, about to be 10:30. So I'm kind of early. It's been a long weekend, y'all, and I'm so looking forward to a day off. Finished up with Expo, done talking to people randomly. It's been quite the experience. But as always, I found my way of doing things, and I think it worked pretty well. The original plan was to push for free parent-teacher workshops to get the parents into our center so we can actually show them how we do things, where we do things, and then have the kids do a skills assessment, which is great. However, I am not a salesperson per se. Now, I will sell stuff all day long, but I have to find my own way of selling it. The best way for me to connect with the person and then tell them about the product that I have to sell. So I started off by trying to hand out bags to people, but I found that, people just walk away from you when you try to offer anything, especially in a fair like that, because everyone's trying to offer you something, right? And then I tried to ask if they're interested in tuition, and obviously they were like, oh no, they're about to sell me something, and they gave me the stink eye and walked away. And then finally I was like, you know what? I really love our worksheets. We had a worksheet for general abilities that we had on the table for the kids to actually work on while we talked to the parents. So I figured, you know what? I love kids. I can talk to kids all day long. And when you approach someone's child, as in simple question, how are you doing? Would you like to solve a question for me? The parents tend to smile a little bit and loosen up because they don't see it as you're trying to sell them something. They see it as you're actually taking an interest in your child. So I went at it from that approach, and that worked really well for me. So got a bunch of leads. We're getting ready to filter through them this week and then see where we can plug people into for workshop dates. So that was just work. Packed up everything, loaded my co-founder's car, and got on the train and came home. Baby girl was super exhausted, but she had a lot of fun. She actually did a climbing wall in a matter of seconds. She was fearless. I was so proud of her. And then she did some Crayola melted wax art. I don't know what to call it. It's interesting. I'll post pictures later. And then she also did, what else did she do? She did a crane operation construction type deal, which is kind of cool too. She's been looking at it all weekend long, and I finally let her go ahead and do that before we left today. So she had a blast. She's totally beat. She's asleep snoring at the moment. So all in all, pretty damn good weekend. And as far as business is concerned, we got a lot done. So today I want to talk about help. I feel like all of us could use some help, but not all of us are willing to accept help. Does that make sense? So I'm one of those people that I was raised to watch people and to notice people, and basically anything you've done after a certain point in time, I've kind of decided what your baseline is, your homeostasis is, where you are at, on average. From there, different nuances in your behavior, in the way you speak, in the way you communicate, how often you communicate, how you communicate, which means you use to communicate, terminology that you use, all of that stuff. I mean, it's stuck in my brain somewhere. So I can tell if your face twitches a little bit different, if you're looking at me all cross-eyed, if you got shit going on, I can tell before you say anything. First of all, I'm a Pisces. Second of all, I'm an empath, and I deal in energy and feelings. So I know who you are, where you are, what's going on, for the most part, on an energy level, from the minute you hit the damn door. So there's no point in trying to bullshit me into saying, oh no, nothing, everything's fine, blah, blah, blah. It's going to bother me no end. I'm just going to get to the bottom of it. You might as well spill the beans. So that's who I am, okay? And I was taught that if you see something out of place, you own it. It's up to you. It's your responsibility to help fix that, okay? Obviously, though, there are some social etiquette rules that you need to follow. You can't just jump into somebody else's life and try and fix shit for them. They gotta want it to be fixed, first of all. They gotta realize that it is a problem and it's not right, and then want to fix it. They got to ask you or accept if you offer the fact that you're going to help. But on the same token, once you offer help, you have to step back once you've offered it, because chances are they will not implement the help that you're giving them. Chances are they are super comfortable where the hell they are, even though they love to complain about whatever the hell is going on. and you just end up being irritated or upset because you expected them to take your advice. Advice is cheap, you guys. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has, a quick fix for whatever the hell is going on. It just depends on if that person is receptive to who you are, the kind of help you're offering, and whether they actually want the help or not. Okay? So I am in a unique position to have offered a lot of help in the last couple months. I love to help. I am a fixer, is just who I am by nature, and I have learned in my short time here on earth that for the most part, people love to vent and love to have a shoulder to lean on while they complain. Okay? That's easy. What they don't always become receptive to is the fact that once they've complained and told you what the damn problem is, that you may have a solution for it. They're not ready for the solution. Most times when they're in complain mode, they just want to complain. They want to stay exactly where they are. They're not ready to change shit. They just want to complain. And yeah, that might work the first 2-3 times, but after that, you're going to get pissed off. And you're going to be irritated over the situation and at your wit's end about, well, why the fuck am I sitting here listening to you complain about the same shit over and over again if you're not going to change nothing? Yeah. So, my advice is, ask before you offer. Be ready once you offer for nothing to change. And don't get upset. There is no point in you getting upset. The fact is, you saw something out of place, you saw something wrong with somebody, you offered to help, and that is great. You did that out of the goodness of your heart. If they say, yes, please help me, and you went the step further and you actually took some action to help them, fine, even better. But it is not your place to get upset if they decide to go back to whatever it was that was hurting them. Okay? Therein lies the rub. It's difficult to detach yourself from a situation where you're trying your best to help someone. And while they say that they want the help, and they look like they want the help, deep down inside, they could care less. They're comfortable. They know what they're dealing with. They know how to deal with it. They know what to expect. They're not going to change it because they know what to expect. It's one of those, a known devil is better than an unknown devil situations. I have learned to hold my tongue a little bit. I have learned to offer a tiny, tiny bit and see if they bite or not. I have learned that most times it's better just to be the shoulder, the listening post, whatever it is you want to be. Let them ask you for more help. It's better than being told off later or have them mad at you because you saw it from the get. They didn't. You offered to help. They said yeah, and then when you changed some stuff, they got pissed off. I don't know why people are resistant to change. I know it's a fact, and that's pretty much it. I don't know why. I don't know why people can see everyone else's problems very clearly, but cannot see their own to save their life. And you know what? I'm in that group. I am quite stubborn sometimes, and I know what my problems are. I know what the problems are. I know who the problems are. But sometimes I'm just damn stubborn. Bullheaded, cocksure, whatever you want to call it. I'm stubborn. I would love for the universe to help me. But I am stuck in my idea of what that help should look like. And that's something I am learning, and I want to tell you about it. There are infinite number of ways for something to come about. So many intricacies, so many, synchronicities, serendipity, whatever you want to call it, fate, luck, blah, blah, blah. So many things that could fall into place for whatever it is your end result is, your desired end result, to happen. But we are so stuck on the way we think that should happen that we block our own blessings. So I'm telling you, if you find yourself in a pickle, you're not happy with the situation, you want out, but you don't know how, instead of asking people how, or mentioning it to people that you want out, how about you admit it to yourself that you want out and leave it up to the universe to kind of conspire with you? I remember when I made the decision to leave my husband. It wasn't something that gradually happened, really. It was one day where I really just decided. I had been fed up for a really long time. Us women, you know how we work. We will put up, try really hard to make it work, and then push come to shove, because we've taken so long putting up, we detach ourselves little by little, and suddenly we find ourselves completely empty, devoid of any feeling, could care less what the fuck the guy does or the girl does. We've kind of cut ourselves off already. And at that point, when we no longer argue with you, we no longer put our foot in our mouth and give you our opinion, when we no longer point out the fact that you screwed up, you're in deep shit. Because at that point, there is no return. We're not coming back. At that point, we already have one foot out the door. It's just a matter of when we bring the other foot to meet the first. So I decided, enough is enough. This is not going to change anytime soon, and I'm not about to, put my daughter at risk any longer. Once I made that decision, I mean like really, in my heart, yeah, this is it. I got to get out of here. Once I made that decision, all I did was call my mom, and I told her, look, you know what? You're right. This isn't going to work. It's not going to get any better. It's not serving any of us. He's miserable. I'm miserable. We're all miserable. And the kids don't need to see this. Once I told her, she asked me one question. Do you want to come home? And I said, you know what? I have nowhere else to go. Yeah, I need to come home. And from that point onwards, once I said those words, somehow the plans fell into place. Now, I was over here thinking I had to save up all the money to be able to get a flight out of the US to Singapore. If I had stuck to that idea, it would have taken me years. Because at the time that I decided to leave, I had no job. I was unemployed. I'd been laid off from my job. I had been fighting for 6 months to find a job. And yeah, it wasn't happening. It was a really bad, economy situation at the time. But by hook or by crook, the universe delivered. I got a ticket, and I was on the next flight out of there. It just so happened to coincide with the fact that my grandmother, every winter, she leaves the US and comes to a more tropical climate because, let's face it, you guys, this young lady turns 100 in 2 months. So the cold don't do good. The cold and her bones don't get along. So it just so happened that she was getting ready to leave to Singapore. My mom was flying in to pick her up because she has to have a companion on the flight. And I was thinking, you know what? You're coming up here, right? Why don't I just fly out with y'all? And that's exactly what happened. Once I made the decision, the universe pulled it into place. The problem with most of us is, in these pickle situations, yeah, we know what we want, but we flip-flop so often that you're sending the universe mixed signals. I think the best analogy is being in a restaurant. So let's say you go to, oh my gosh, what's a restaurant I miss? Cracker Barrel. You go to Cracker Barrel and you know their breakfasts are the bomb, right? And there's so many different choices. And you decide, yeah, you can order, shoot, I can't even remember, man. Let's see if I can pull up a menu real quick. Basically, you're going to sit in the restaurant, you wait for the waiter to come up and take your order, right? And you decide, yeah, it's kind of a cold morning out, you want something warm, maybe you want coffee. And you tell the waiter, yeah, I want coffee while I go through this menu a little bit longer to figure out what I want to eat. But as soon as he takes like 5 steps away, you call him back and say, you know what, no, let's change that. I don't want coffee, I want hot chocolate. So off he goes again, headed to the kitchen to give him the order. And before he gets to the door, you get up and you go get him, and you're like, no, you know what, I think I want coffee again. So you see what you're doing. You're giving your order, whatever it is that you want, but because your heart is not set on one thing or another, you keep changing your mind. The waiter actually doesn't get a chance to put in the damn order. You're stuck. The hardest part in the world is to stick to a decision you've made. I know. Because it happens to me a lot. I'm still learning, you guys. I'm not a pro at any of this stuff. A lot of this stuff is quite new to me, but I'm testing it. I really am just testing it. I think I've mentioned this book before, but E Squared is a brilliant book. There are practical experiments for the law of attraction in there. And you know what? They freaking work. I've tried them. But it really is a matter of deciding. Once you decide what you want, the kind of help you want, or the help, you decide what situation you want help with. Let's make it that simple. You decide what the situation you want help with. Once you've made up your mind, things start changing. Immediately. You may not see them. They may be behind the scenes, but things start changing. But that also means that if your mood changes and someone, gives you a little bit of advice, or you watch a movie and something makes you feel a little bit different, suddenly you flip-flop to the other side, that's going to send another signal out. Basically, in the end, you get your wires crossed and you don't get either one of what you've asked for. You're just stuck. It's like the doldrums. There is no wind. You're just stuck in the middle of the sea. Help is a curious thing. It's there for anyone who asks. But you have to decide what you want. Because that's the only time that the help will actually help, for lack of another term. There are always people around to help you. There are always signs to point you in the right direction. There's always guidance. Always. It might be a song that suddenly hits you, the lyrics hit home really bad. It may be a dialogue in a movie where the characters in the movie are going through something similar to your situation. And you really feel how the situation turns out and what the solutions were. It could be anything. Something that resonates with you. Something that really is in tune with how you're feeling. And suddenly you're like, I know. It's like that clarity moment, right? But it doesn't matter how many of those you have in a day if you're not going to stick to your decision. For me, a lot of times it's matters of the heart. Do I give someone a chance, or do I pull out? Do I trust what they're saying, or do I doubt everything? Do I believe them when they say they got my back? Or do I prepare to be by myself like I always have been? Because people always flake out. But those decisions, is that because I've decided that they're going to flake out and then so they do? Is it because I don't have enough faith, enough belief in things working out the way they should? Yeah, actually, it's because I don't believe. If I expect the worst, it's going to be the worst. If I expect for the other shoe to drop, guess what? The other shoe drops. Because guess what? I don't stop waiting until the other shoe drops. There is help. Usually comes from the unlikeliest of places. I have relied on the kindness of strangers for so many things in my life, but I am super grateful for them. They were there just when I needed them to be. Decide what you want. Decide for yourself, not for anybody else. Decide for yourself. What is it that makes you happy? What is it that keeps your joy and your spirits up? There are some situations where thinking about them gives you a headache. There are some situations where you feel so guilty that you get sick. You make yourself sick. In those situations, your body is telling you the energy on that situation is wrong. Something is wrong. You need to change it. If you can get physically sick over something, it is not for you. Something about that situation has changed. Pay attention. Your body doesn't lie. Your gut instinct doesn't lie. I'm hoping this helped. I'm hoping whoever needed to hear this is listening. I hope you understand that we're all a work in progress, me included. I'm doing the best I can. I'm giving you whatever advice I can based on everything I'm living. I'm not telling you shit that I happen to read somewhere else and it sounds good, so let me talk about this. No, I'm actually living this shit right now. There are a lot of details in my life that I would love to divulge, but I can't because there are a lot of names and people involved and I don't want to hurt anyone. My purpose here is to serve. And if by giving you the broad strokes of what I'm going through will help you to sort your life out, great. Because that's all I can give you. I can't give you more than that. Everything I've lived through has real people attached to it, real situations, real life attached to it. I'm telling you because it's my story to tell. But there are parts of it that if I were to divulge, it becomes their story. And I don't want to do that. That's not who I am. It's almost like a lawyer saying, you know what? Fuck attorney-client privilege. I'm going to tell you exactly what he told me so I can prove his innocence. Well, then you're not a damn good lawyer, are you? So if I'm in the service of helping people, if I can't tell you in simple enough terms for you to understand without having to divulge someone's name, their occupation, who their relationship with me, and what exactly, happened, then you know what? This isn't meant for me. So please, take what advice you can. I hope this episode gave you some value. And if not, that's cool too. Maybe this wasn't your piece of advice. Maybe it'll come to you from somewhere else. But if I can, for a moment, change your perspective and help you see that there are options, that you are not out of luck, that this isn't the last straw, there are options for you, then I've done my job. All right, you guys, it's been real. I really did enjoy speaking to you guys. I got some stuff off my chest while I was talking to you, and that was kind of cool too. But I'm going to call this a night for now and hit you back up tomorrow, okay? So y'all enjoy and take care. And until tomorrow, bye.